She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Stay alert, because daytime TV has just experienced the biggest shock of the year. Joy Behar, a longtime staple on The View, has been let go, but not before igniting a whirlwind of lawsuits, heated debates, and chaos across social media. What went down behind the scenes? Was she pushed out, or did she decide to leave on her own? And what was the one word that revealed it all? Stick with us, because this story is packed with drama, controversy, and some serious consequences. Let's dive into what really happened. It all started with a comment Behar made on a recent episode of The View. The show is no stranger to fiery discussions, but this one took a turn when she commented on Karoline Leavitt, who had just been appointed White House press secretary by Donald Trump. Behar suggested that Leavitt likely got the job because of her appearance, sparking immediate backlash.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I was stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job. Karoline Leavitt, she's just 27 years old.
Yes, you heard that correctly. This isn't just a cheap shot, it's a full-on plunge into the messy side of things. In case you didn't know, Karoline Leavitt is the youngest person ever to hold the position of White House press secretary at just 27 years old. Despite her youth, Leavitt has an impressive resume, with roles including communications director for several major Republican campaigns and even working on Donald Trump's campaign. But instead of highlighting her qualifications,
Karoline Leavitt, she's just 27 years old. But boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House briefing.
Joy Behar focused solely on Leavitt's appearance, which sparked more than just a little anger. It ignited an immediate firestorm. The audience reacted with audible gasps, and several of Behar's co-hosts appeared visibly uncomfortable. As someone with experience in the Trump administration, Alyssa Farah Griffin wasted no time firing back, clarifying that this wasn't Leavitt's first job, just her first press briefing.
Oh yeah, let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Or what unfolded online will likely leave you even more stressed than what happened on air. People from all political sides were quick to criticize Behar's comment on social media. Both supporters and detractors pointed out the irony, especially given Behar's long-standing advocacy for feminism and women's rights. One user wrote, "If a Republican had said anything even remotely like that, they'd be crucified." Another commented that Behar had once again proven that The View only supports women who share the same beliefs as the hosts.
You might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
But it didn't stop there. That's right. Karoline Leavitt wasn't about to let this slide. Instead of releasing a simple statement, she took it all the way and filed a lawsuit against Behar, accusing her of slander and damaging her reputation. The lawsuit claimed that Behar's remarks were not only false, but were deliberately aimed at harming Leavitt's public image. The legal action was more than just a shock. It was a direct blow to both Behar and ABC, the network behind The View. Behind the scenes, chaos was reportedly unfolding at ABC as officials scrambled to decide their next move. Should they publicly defend Behar, suspend her, or take even more drastic action?
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on...
The staff at The View had mixed reactions. Some rushed to defend Behar, while others quietly acknowledged that things had spiraled out of control. It's worth noting that Behar has faced controversy before, but this time, the stakes were much higher. The lawsuit, combined with the overwhelming public backlash, put ABC in a difficult position. Things escalated even further when rumors surfaced that ABC executives had been in emergency talks for days leading up to Behar's departure. Sources within the network claimed executives were in a panic, with some fearing that the lawsuit could severely damage the network's reputation.
It's not. So first of all, and I have had my objections to the job that Karine Jean-Pierre did, but she worked in politics for 21 years, 5 presidential campaigns, and worked in 2 administrations.
And ABC has faced criticism in the past for The View's often divisive content, but this scandal was particularly damaging because of its potential legal ramifications. One network insider described the atmosphere as tense and chaotic, with executives walking on eggshells as they tried to balance their loyalty to Behar with the growing external pressure to take action. The stress wasn't just felt by top staff at The View. The staff was reportedly split into 2 camps. Some remained fiercely loyal to Behar, believing that while her opinion was wrong, she didn't deserve such intense backlash. Others felt that her comments about Leavitt crossed a line and were indefensible, especially from someone who claims to support women's success. One unnamed employee was quoted as saying, "This isn't the first time Joy has gotten us into trouble, but this time it feels like there's no way to fix it." Rumors swirled that the division among staff members was making the work environment toxic.
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job. Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them.
Rumors began circulating that other co-hosts might also face fallout from the incident. The situation became even more complicated with the question of whether ABC could be held responsible for the case. News outlets turned to legal experts to weigh in on whether Behar's comments could be considered defamatory. Some believed Leavitt's lawsuit was justified, particularly given how personal and detailed Behar's remarks were. Others, however, argued that Leavitt might struggle to prove malice, a key factor in defamation cases involving public figures. Regardless of the outcome, the upcoming court case is expected to be messy, with ABC potentially caught in the crossfire. 1. Professionals suggested that the network might attempt to distance itself from Behar's comments, but the fact that they aired could make the network partly liable in the eyes of a jury. Meanwhile, Leavitt has stayed in the public eye since the scandal. In an exclusive interview with a conservative news outlet, she responded to Behar's remarks, calling them not only sexist, but also deeply unprofessional. Leavitt also used the opportunity to highlight her qualifications, listing her achievements as proof that she earned her position as press secretary and wasn't simply given the role based on her appearance. Many of her supporters praised her composure and her decision to stand up for herself in the face of what they saw as an unwarranted attack.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Then came the unexpected news. ABC announced that Joy Behar was leaving The View. Many speculated that it wasn't a voluntary departure, as the announcement came just days after Leavitt filed her lawsuit. The network issued a vague statement, saying Behar had chosen to leave and wished her well, but insiders at ABC claim that the decision was influenced by officials who pushed Behar out to safeguard the future of the show. The View has weathered its share of controversies in the past, but this scandal may have been more than the network could handle.
They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Reactions to Behar's departure have, to put it mildly, been mixed. Some people are glad to see her go, believing she finally got what she deserved for her controversial remarks. One fan even suggested maybe they should cancel ABC Network. It would fix everything. Another wrote, I don't get why that show is still on the air or why it was ever on in the first place. On the other hand, some longtime The View fans are disappointed by the loss of one of the show's most outspoken hosts. They argue that Behar's exit was driven by political pressure and that ABC is too easily influenced by outside forces. Conservative commentators, however, view this as a big win, seeing it as an example of accountability in what they perceive as a biased media environment. And let's not forget how entertaining this whole situation is.
Yesterday, the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, gave her very first press conference where she announced that they're adding extra seats to the briefing room.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
And for years, Joy Behar built a reputation as a staunch advocate for women's rights and independence. She frequently criticized those who spoke ill of women, yet in a single moment, she managed to undo everything she had stood for. Her harsh remarks about Karoline Leavitt directly contradicted the very principles she had championed throughout her career, and many have pointed this out. So, what does this mean for The View? The show faces a lot of uncertainty right now. One of its defining voices was Joy Behar, and her absence is being deeply felt. ABC now has to decide carefully who will take her place. Will they choose another outspoken liberal voice, or try to balance things out by bringing in someone with a more conservative perspective? Either way, it's clear that The View has a long road ahead before it can rebuild trust with its audience. As for Joy Behar, her future remains uncertain. Will she fight back against the lawsuit and attempt to clear her name, or will she quietly fade from the spotlight, leaving behind a reputation as one of the most polarizing figures in daytime TV? And what about Karoline Leavitt? Her decision to challenge Behar has put her in the media's spotlight, but it's also made her the focus of a media circus. Will this court case ultimately help her, or will it backfire? This story is far from over. The fallout from both Behar's departure and the ongoing lawsuit is likely to dominate headlines for weeks or even months. Plus, with growing public distrust in major media outlets, this controversy could be the final straw for The View. What do you think? Should Joy Behar have left a long time ago, or was she unfairly pushed out? And what's next for The View after this scandal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.